Hello, everyone. Welcome to English in Advance. I'm Jessica, your host for today. Let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel like you know hundreds, maybe even thousands of English words, but the moment someone asks you a simple question, your mind goes completely blank? You freeze? You get nervous? And the perfect reply only comes to you 5 minutes after the conversation is already over. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know that it is one of the most common and frustrating problems for English learners. You spend all that time studying grammar rules and memorizing vocabulary lists. But when you're in a real-life situation, like ordering a coffee or talking to a native speaker, the English just won't come out. Well, today, we are going to fix that. I'm Jessica, and this isn't just another English lesson. This is a 1-hour immersive practice experience designed to take the English that's trapped in your head and put it into your mouth. We are going to simulate the real, everyday conversations you actually need. From the moment you wake up, to your chats with friends, to handling daily tasks with confidence, my promise to you is this. By the end of this hour, you won't just be a passive listener. You will feel your brain start to think and respond in English more naturally. The fear will start to fade, and your confidence to speak in any everyday situation will soar. So find a comfortable spot, relax, take a deep breath, and get ready to stop just studying English and start actually speaking it. Let's begin. Speaking English with ease and fluency in your day-to-day life is perhaps the most powerful and effective way to truly master the language. The real secret to fluency isn't found in memorizing complex grammar rules from a textbook or cramming endless lists of advanced vocabulary. Instead, it's discovered in the simple, real-life situations where language is used to connect, to share, and to navigate our world. These daily conversations are the very foundation, the bedrock upon which native speakers build their communication. They are the small moments that allow us to stay connected with one another, to share our ideas, and to simply get things done. In our practice today, we will explore a rich tapestry of practical examples. We will see how English is woven into the fabric of a morning routine, how it's used in the warm, bustling atmosphere of a coffee shop, during the practical task of shopping, and in the relaxed, casual chats we have with friends and family. These are the conversations that happen all around us, every single day. Developing the ability to express yourself comfortably and confidently in these moments is what will truly elevate your fluency and your self-assurance. Let's begin our journey at the very start of the day, in a typical morning at home. Imagine the first gentle light of the sun is just beginning to stream through the window. You walk into the kitchen and see your roommate, Liam, already making coffee. A natural way to start the day would be with a simple, warm greeting. You might say, "Good morning, Liam. Did you sleep well?" This is more than just a question, it's a small gesture of connection. He might turn, a friendly smile on his face, and respond, "Morning, Chloe." "Yes, I slept like a log, thanks. How about you?" You could then continue the exchange by saying, "I slept okay, but I think I definitely need some of that coffee to fully wake up." These might seem like tiny, insignificant exchanges, but they are incredibly important. They help to build a positive atmosphere and start the day with a sense of connection. These casual greetings are a huge part of natural spoken English. Asking a simple question like, "Did you sleep well?" shows that you care and are interested in the other person. These phrases may appear basic, but when you use them every day, they train your mind to think and respond in English automatically, without hesitation or a need to translate in your head. Now, as you and Liam are getting ready for the day, the conversation might shift to practical matters. You might look out the window and ask, "What's the weather like today?" "I'm not sure what to wear." This is a very common way to talk about daily plans. Liam might check his phone and reply, "It looks a bit chilly this morning, but it's supposed to get sunny later. You should probably wear a jacket you can take off." You could respond, "Good idea." "I was also wondering, does the forecast say anything about rain? I need to know if I should grab my umbrella." He might answer, "Let me check. No, it looks clear all day." You can leave the umbrella at home. These kinds of questions and replies help you learn how to use English to discuss plans, expectations, and to give simple advice. You're not just learning vocabulary about the weather, you are practicing how to live your life and make small decisions through the medium of English. Let's stay in the kitchen for a little longer as you both prepare some breakfast. This is another perfect opportunity for natural conversation. You might open the refrigerator and ask, "Would you like some eggs this morning, Liam?" "I'm about to make some scrambled eggs." This is a helpful and common way to offer food. He could reply, "Oh, that sounds great. I'll have some, please. Can I help with anything?" You might say, "Sure, could you get the toast started?" This back and forth about making decisions and coordinating tasks is essential. A typical reply could also be something like, "Just coffee for me today, thanks." "I'm running a bit late." Learning how to offer things and respond politely is a cornerstone of daily conversation. It shows good manners and makes your English sound much more natural and considerate. If he were making the coffee and asked you, "Do you want any sugar in your coffee?" you could respond with, "Yes, just 1 spoonful, please." Or, if you prefer it without, you could say, "No thanks, I like it black." These short, precise responses are extremely common in English-speaking households and social settings. They are the little building blocks of fluent, everyday communication. Now that we've started our day, let's move out of the house and into a location you might visit regularly, a local cafe or coffee shop. This is a fantastic place to practice functional English. As you walk in, the aroma of freshly ground coffee beans fills the air. A friendly barista behind the counter greets you with a smile and says, "Hi there, what can I get for you today?" This is a standard opening line. You can confidently respond with, "Hi, I'd like a large cappuccino, please." Or you could ask, "Can I please have a medium vanilla latte?" The barista will likely have a follow-up question such as, "And would you like that hot or iced?" You can simply reply, "Hot, please." These interactions happen thousands of times a day in countless places all over the world. By practicing them, you become comfortable ordering things in English and expressing your preferences clearly and concisely. The barista might then ask, "Will there be anything else for you?" If you are done, a polite way to close the transaction is to say, "No, that's all for me. Thank you." This use of polite closure helps the interaction end smoothly. These small conversations might feel repetitive, but they are instrumental in building your confidence to use English in public outside of a classroom setting. Now picture this. You're standing off to the side waiting for your cappuccino and you see a familiar face. It's your friend, Maya. A natural and friendly conversation could begin just like this. You could say, "Hey Maya, fancy seeing you here. I didn't know this was your coffee spot." She might turn and a look of pleasant surprise crosses her face. "Oh, hey. Yeah, I stop by here almost every morning. It's on my way to work. This is a great opportunity for some casual small talk." You might ask, "That's convenient. How's the new job going, by the way?" She might reply with a sigh, "It's going pretty well, thanks for asking. Just incredibly busy as usual. How have you been?" These kinds of conversations are wonderfully informal and friendly. They allow you to connect with people you know while practicing the art of small talk. Learning how to keep a conversation moving forward with simple questions and thoughtful answers is one of the most fundamental skills in real-life communication. It's not about discussing complex topics. It's about showing interest and maintaining a friendly connection. Let's move on to another very common daily scenario. Shopping for groceries at the supermarket. This is a place filled with opportunities for practical English. Suppose you are looking for a specific item and you can't seem to find it. You need some assistance. You can approach a store employee and politely get their attention by saying, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to bother you, but could you tell me where I can find the pasta?" The employee might reply with a helpful smile, "Of course." The pasta is in aisle 5, right next to the canned tomatoes. You would then show your appreciation by saying, "Oh, great. Thank you very much." And they would likely respond with, "You're very welcome." This interaction, though short, is incredibly useful. It teaches you the essential skills of how to politely ask for help, how to understand and follow simple directions, and how to express gratitude in English. Another common situation is asking about prices. You might be holding an item and ask an employee, "Excuse me, how much is this?" Or, "Can you tell me if this is on sale?" You might hear replies like, "That's $5.50. Or, "Yes, all the items with a red tag are buy one, get one free this week." Understanding and using this kind of vocabulary related to shopping and prices helps you manage your everyday tasks with much more ease and independence. Sometimes, while you're navigating the aisles of the grocery store, you might unexpectedly run into someone you know, maybe a neighbor named Mr. Harrison. A casual conversation could start with you saying, "Well, hello, Mr. Harrison. Fancy seeing you here." He might chuckle and say, "Hello there. Yes, I was just picking up a few things for dinner tonight. My wife wants to try a new recipe." You could respond with genuine interest. "Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm doing the same. I didn't feel like cooking an elaborate meal, so I just grabbed a pre-made salad." These types of spontaneous, casual chats are where your English skills can truly shine. They help you use the language in a situation that isn't rehearsed or planned. You're not just practicing, you are interacting naturally in the moment. And that is the true essence of fluency. Speaking without constantly needing to stop and translate every single word in your head. The words just begin to flow. As your day continues, you may find yourself in a situation where you need to ask someone for directions on the street. This is a classic real-world test of your language skills. You might approach someone who looks friendly and say, "Excuse me, I'm a bit lost. Can you please tell me how to get to the main post office?" A helpful person might answer, "Certainly. You'll want to go straight down this road for about 3 blocks and then take the second left turn. You'll see it right next to a large bank. You can't miss it." You would respond with relief, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help." They might simply say, "No problem at all. Have a great day." These exchanges are invaluable. They help you learn how to ask for and provide directions in a friendly, clear, and respectful manner. They are especially useful if you are traveling or living in an English-speaking area. Notice that these are not complex sentences with advanced grammar. They are simple, functional, and effective. Each time you have one of these small conversations, you are not only improving your English vocabulary and sentence structure, but you are also training your brain to process information and respond more quickly. You speak more clearly and feel more natural while talking. The key to all of this is not to aim for perfection, but to strive for consistency. Try to speak a little English every single day. Repeat phrases that you hear. Try using a new expression with someone. The more you actively use the language, the more familiar and comfortable it becomes. And very soon, you will notice a wonderful thing happening. You won't need to think so hard before speaking. The words will just flow. That is the real transformative power of consistently practicing daily life English conversations. Another very common daily interaction, and one that can sometimes feel a bit intimidating, happens on the telephone. Talking on the phone in English can feel more challenging because you don't have the visual cues of the person's facial expressions or body language. However, practicing common phone conversations can significantly help you feel more at ease and confident. Let's imagine you're calling your friend, Ben, to make some plans for the weekend. You would start the call with a friendly greeting. "Hi, Ben, it's Sarah. How are you?" He would likely reply, "Hey, Sarah. I'm doing great, thanks. What about you?" You would continue the conversation, "I'm good. The reason I'm calling is I was thinking maybe we could finally go for that hike. We talked about this Saturday. Are you free?" Your friend might respond with enthusiasm, "That sounds like a fantastic idea. I'm definitely free on Saturday. What time were you thinking?" You could reply, "How about we meet at the trailhead around 9 in the morning? That way we can avoid the afternoon heat." He would agree. 9 o'clock is perfect. I'll see you then. This short phone conversation includes all the essential elements: a greeting, the purpose of the call, making plans, confirming details, and expressing enthusiasm. These kinds of brief exchanges prepare you for real-life situations where you'll need to communicate clearly and confidently over the phone. Let's shift our focus back into the home, specifically to another daily task, cooking or preparing meals. Even in your own kitchen, you can seamlessly integrate English into your activities. Suppose you are cooking dinner with a friend or a partner. The kitchen can become a space for easy, natural conversation. You might say, "Could you please pass me the olive oil?" Or while looking in the pantry, you might ask, "Do we have any onions left?" "I can't seem to find any." The other person could reply, "Yes, I think they're in the bottom drawer of the refrigerator." Or they might say, "No, I think we're all out." "Do you want me to make a quick run to the store?" You could answer, "Oh, that would be a huge help. Thanks so much." These conversations are very casual and task-oriented, but they are rich with learning opportunities. They teach you how to ask for help, answer questions about location and quantity, and offer assistance, all in natural English. It is incredibly easy to practice these kinds of conversations every day while doing normal routine activities. The more you do it, the more fluent and comfortable you become with this practical vocabulary. Now let's turn our attention to conversations that might take place at work or in a school setting. These environments often involve a slightly more formal tone, with routine questions and polite, clear responses. Imagine you're at your office and your coworker, David, asks you, "Hi there, did you get a chance to finish that quarterly report?" You might respond, "Not quite yet. I'm still working on the final section. I should be able to send it to you by the end of the day." Or perhaps you are the one who needs help. You might approach your colleague and ask, "David, do you have a minute? I could use your help with an Excel formula." He would likely respond, "Sure, I can help." What do you need? These short professional exchanges are typical in workplace settings. They require clarity, politeness, and a cooperative spirit. Learning the natural rhythm and common phrases of these conversations helps you sound more professional and organized in English-speaking workplaces. Similarly, in a school or university setting, you might talk with a classmate or a teacher. A fellow student might lean over and ask, "Did you understand the homework assignment for tomorrow?" The other student could reply, "I think so." My understanding is that we have to write a one-page summary of the article he gave us. Or if you are feeling confused, you might raise your hand and ask the teacher, "Excuse me, Professor, could you please explain that last part again? I didn't quite catch it." The teacher would likely respond, "Of course." Let me go over it one more time for everyone. These examples demonstrate how to ask for clarification, check your understanding, and show respect during a conversation in an academic setting. Both school and work are perfect environments to practice clear, helpful, and collaborative English that supports effective communication and teamwork. Now let's imagine a conversation that could happen when you are outside, just enjoying a bit of fresh air. Perhaps you are waiting for a bus or taking a leisurely walk in the park. This is a prime time for small talk. A friendly stranger sitting on the bench next to you might say, "It's lovely weather today, isn't it?" This is a very common conversation starter. You could respond with a smile, "Yes, it's absolutely beautiful." Not too hot and not too cold. This type of small talk is extremely common in many English-speaking countries. People often talk about the weather, their pets, or something happening around them to initiate a friendly, low-pressure conversation. You could even continue it by saying, "Do you come to this park often?" Or you might offer a comment like, "I just love walking here in the evenings. It's so peaceful." These simple comments help to build friendly, temporary connections and demonstrate your confidence in using English in a casual, spontaneous way. At the bus stop, you might need some information. You could ask someone waiting nearby, "Excuse me, do you happen to know what time the next bus is scheduled to arrive?" They might reply, "I think the schedule says it comes at 3:45, but it's often a few minutes late." You could say, "Okay, thanks so much for the info." These conversations might seem small and trivial, but they truly matter. They provide you with a valuable chance to practice your English with strangers, which is a significant step towards achieving real-world fluency. Being able to successfully start, maintain, and end a short conversation with someone you don't know is a powerful and confidence-boosting skill, especially when you are living in an English-speaking environment. Let's go through another example that happens quite often in daily life: a visit to the doctor's office. This is a situation where clear and accurate communication in English is particularly important. You would start by checking in at the reception desk. You might say, Hello, I have an appointment with Dr. Evans at 10 o'clock. The receptionist would likely ask, "And what is your name, please?" You would reply, "My name is Sarah Kahn." They would respond, "Okay, Miss Kahn. Please have a seat in the waiting area. The doctor will see you shortly." Later, when you are in the examination room with the doctor, they might begin by asking, "So, what seems to be the problem today?" You would need to explain your symptoms clearly. "I've had a really bad headache for the past 2 days." The doctor will then ask more questions to get details. "Do you have any other symptoms along with the headache?" You might reply, "Yes, I also have a slight fever and a bit of a sore throat." These conversations are crucial for your health. Practicing them beforehand helps you explain how you are feeling and understand the doctor's instructions. Being prepared makes you feel less nervous and more in control when you are actually in that situation. Next, let's imagine a trip to the bank. You might need to perform a transaction or ask for information. You would approach a bank teller and say, "Hi, I'd like to open a new account, please." The banker would reply professionally, "Of course." "May I please see a form of identification?" You would provide your ID and they might then ask, "Are you interested in a savings account or a checking account?" You could respond, "I think a checking account would work best for my needs." These more formal conversations are also a very important part of daily life. They help you manage your finances, ask important questions, and understand the services being offered to you, all in English. The more you learn to clearly express your needs in these kinds of settings, the more independent and confident you will become in all aspects of your life. Let's look at a short, but very common conversation that might happen when you go out to eat at a restaurant. The host at the entrance might greet you by saying, "Hi, welcome. Will it be a table for one?" And you can respond, "Yes, just me. Thank you." They would then lead you to your table and hand you a menu. A bit later, your server will come over and ask, "Are you ready to order, or do you need a few more minutes?" You might say, "Yes, I'm ready. I'll have the grilled chicken with a side of rice, please." The server might then ask, "And would you like anything to drink with that?" You could answer, "Just a glass of water for now, thank you." These are simple, but absolutely essential parts of daily communication. Being able to order your food, ask questions about the menu, and respond politely demonstrates real-life fluency and makes the experience much more enjoyable. Now, let's think about the conversation that happens when you are ready to pay for your meal. The server might approach your table and ask, "How was everything? Would you like the bill?" You can respond, "Everything was delicious, thank you." "Yes, I'll take the bill, please." They will return with the check and say, "Here you go. I can take that for you whenever you're ready." You might then ask, "Thanks. Can I pay by card?" They would almost certainly respond, "Yes, of course." After you pay, it's polite to say something like, "Thank you so much. The food was wonderful." They might say in return, "We're so glad you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful rest of your day." This final closing interaction is very important. It ends the entire experience on a friendly and polite note. These types of exchanges teach you how to use everyday manners and common expressions in real-world situations, making your English sound courteous and natural. In all of these varied examples, the one common thread, the true key to success, is practice. Practicing these daily conversations helps you learn the natural rhythm of how to start, continue, and finish an interaction. It teaches you how to ask questions effectively, respond politely, give information clearly, and share your opinions confidently. More importantly than anything else, it helps you build a deep and lasting confidence in your speaking skills. True fluency comes from using English consistently in your life, not just from studying it in a book. That is precisely why practicing conversations that reflect real, everyday life is one of the very best methods to improve your English quickly, effectively, and enjoyably. Let's now explore the conversations that often happen in the evening. After a long and busy day, many people spend their evenings relaxing, cooking a meal, or catching up with their loved ones. These moments provide perfect opportunities to use English in a natural, unhurried, and relaxed way. Suppose you arrive home from work and greet your family member or roommate by saying, "Hey, I'm home. How was your day?" They might look up from what they're doing and respond, "It was pretty good, just a bit tiring." How about yours? You could reply, "Same here. Work was incredibly busy today, but I'm so glad to be home now." This brief conversation is very common, and it helps you express your emotions and share your daily experiences in a simple way. Using common expressions like, "How was your day?" and "I'm glad to be home" is a frequent and meaningful way to create connections with the people you live with. Later in the evening, you might want to start talking about dinner plans. You could ask, "What do you feel like eating tonight?" "I'm open to anything." The other person might say, "I'm not sure. Maybe something simple like pasta." You could then suggest, "That sounds perfect. I'll start boiling the water if you'd like." They might then reply, "Thanks. I'll start chopping the vegetables." This type of teamwork and conversation that happens while cooking is not only practical for getting a meal prepared, but it's also a fantastic chance to improve your English speaking in a very relaxed and low-pressure setting. Talking about simple tasks, food preferences, and making small plans helps you become much more comfortable using different verbs and sentence structures in a natural, flowing way. After dinner, you might decide to sit down and watch a movie together. The conversation could start with you asking, "So, what should we watch tonight?" Your friend might answer, "I heard there's a new comedy on Netflix that's supposed to be really funny. Do you want to try that?" You might agree enthusiastically, "Sure. I could definitely use a good laugh today." These small exchanges about entertainment choices are very typical in daily life. Being able to casually talk about your preferences and make decisions together is an important social skill. During the movie, you might also comment on what's happening. You could say, "Wow, that was much funnier than I expected." Or, after a surprising plot twist, you might exclaim, "I did not see that coming." The ending was really surprising. Learning how to express your opinions and reactions in real time is an essential part of having a natural conversation in English. Now, let's shift our focus to the conversations you might have online or through text messages. In today's highly connected world, a significant portion of our daily conversations happens through messaging apps. These interactions are just as valuable for practicing your English. For example, you might send a text to your friend that says, "Hey, are you free this weekend?" They might respond a few minutes later, "I think so." "Why, what's up?" You could then write, "I was thinking we could finally go hiking on Saturday or maybe see that new movie that just came out." They might reply, "Both sound fun. Let's decide by Friday." This back-and-forth texting helps you practice informal English, learn how to write concisely, and understand common abbreviations and short phrases like, "What's up?" It also trains your brain to switch quickly and effectively between reading and writing in English. If you are texting someone for work or study purposes, your language might be a bit more formal. You might send a message saying, "Just checking in to see if we still have a team meeting scheduled for tomorrow." A colleague could reply, "Yes, it's at 10 o'clock in the morning. Don't forget to bring your notes from the last session." You would then respond, "Great, thanks for the reminder. See you then." This type of professional text message is short, clear, and polite. Practicing writing messages like these will help you feel more confident when you need to text or email in English for professional reasons. Whether your communication is casual or formal, writing in English every day will significantly improve both your speaking and your comprehension skills. Let's talk a little more about making weekend plans. Conversations about future plans are very common and incredibly helpful for learning. You might ask a friend, "Do you have any exciting plans for this weekend?" And you might hear responses like, "Not really. I think I might just relax at home and read a book." Or, "I'm planning to visit my cousin who lives a couple of hours away." You could then say, "Well, if you're free on Sunday afternoon, we could grab lunch together." And they might say, "That sounds really nice. Let's do it." These types of conversations involve making suggestions, extending invitations, and giving responses. Knowing how to make plans and react to invitations helps you feel more involved and active in your daily social life. Another important type of conversation happens when someone needs a little help. Suppose a friend says, "Can you give me a hand with moving this table?" It's a bit heavy. You would naturally respond, "Sure thing. Let me grab the other side." Or perhaps someone says, "I'm having a lot of trouble with this new app on my phone. I can't figure it out." You might reply, "Here, let me take a look. Maybe I can help." Offering help in solving small problems using English teaches you how to be a supportive and cooperative person. You also get to learn and practice very useful action verbs like grab, fix, help, lift, and open. These words are essential in everyday speaking and are useful in both casual and professional settings. There are also conversations that occur when things go wrong and you need to express concern or offer support. For example, if a friend says with a worried expression, "I think I've lost my wallet," you might immediately say, "Oh no! Do you remember where you last had it?" Or you could suggest, "Let's try to retrace your steps. Where were you before you came here?" Helping someone in a stressful situation in English allows you to use comforting words and show empathy. You might say something encouraging like, "Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find it." Or, "Let's call the restaurant where you had lunch." Maybe you left it there. These expressions are not only helpful from a practical standpoint, but they also demonstrate emotional intelligence in your communication. Sometimes you might be the one who needs to apologize, or you might need to respond to an apology. A typical conversation could go like this. You might say, "I'm so sorry I forgot to reply to your message from yesterday." The other person would likely say, "Oh, it's okay. I know you've been really busy." You might want to add, "Thanks for understanding. I didn't mean to ignore you." This kind of exchange teaches you how to offer a sincere apology and how to respond graciously. Apologizing in English often involves more than just saying the word sorry. It includes your tone of voice, providing a brief reason, and expressing your feelings. Practicing these conversations makes you more fluent and emotionally aware in a wide variety of social contexts. Another useful category of conversation is expressing your likes and dislikes. You might say in a conversation, "I really enjoy listening to music when I'm cooking. It makes it so much more fun." Or, "I have to admit, I'm not a big fan of horror movies. They're too scary for me." If someone asks you a direct question like, "Do you like spicy food?" you could say, "I like it a little spicy, but not too much." These short, simple sentences help you talk about your personal preferences. This is especially helpful in social situations when you want to share your opinions, make connections with people who have similar interests, or simply express who you are as a person. Being able to clearly describe what you enjoy and what you don't is a vital part of self-expression in any language. Let's also cover the important acts of giving compliments and showing appreciation. For example, you might see a friend wearing a new outfit and say, "I love your dress. It looks absolutely great on you." Or you could say, "Thanks so much for helping me with my project today. I really appreciate it." Compliments and words of thanks make conversations more positive, warm, and friendly. In return, someone might say to your compliment, "Thank you. That means a lot to me." Or to your expression of gratitude, they might say, "It was no problem at all. I was happy to help." These types of phrases strengthen your relationships and help you learn how to be polite and kind in English. They are a wonderful way to make other people feel good while you are practicing smooth, positive conversations. When it comes to ending conversations, there are several common phrases that are used to close the interaction naturally and politely. If you're finishing a casual chat, you might say, "It was so great talking to you," or, "Well, I have to get going now, but let's catch up again very soon." The other person might respond, "For sure. Talk to you later," or, "Okay, take care." These simple phrases help you leave the conversation respectfully and make a good final impression. Knowing how to close a conversation well is just as important as knowing how to start one. Practicing both opening and closing sentences will help you manage your conversations with ease and grace in all kinds of situations. Now let's turn our attention to conversations that happen in retail environments, like in shops or at a shopping mall. These situations are a very common part of everyday life, and learning how to interact politely and confidently in English can be extremely helpful. Suppose you walk into a clothing store. A store assistant might approach you with a friendly smile and say, "Hi there. Can I help you find anything today?" You might respond, "Yes, please. I'm looking for a pair of jeans." They may then ask a follow-up question, "Certainly. What size do you normally wear?" You could reply, "I usually wear a medium, but I'm not always sure about the fit with different brands." The assistant might then say, "No problem. Let me grab a couple of different styles for you to try on in the fitting room." You can respond gratefully, "That would be wonderful. Thank you." In this short and simple exchange, you are clearly expressing what you need, giving important information, and responding politely to the offer of help. These conversations also teach you a lot of useful vocabulary related to shopping, clothing, sizes, and styles, which is very practical for daily life. When you are ready to make a purchase, you would go to the cashier and say, "Hi, I'd just like to pay for these items." The cashier will likely respond, "Sure thing." Will you be paying by card or with cash? You would specify, I'll pay with my card, please. Then, after the transaction is complete, the cashier might ask, would you like a receipt? You can respond, yes, please. These are some of the most frequently used phrases in retail stores, and they help you practice polite, functional English in a public setting. Every single time you go shopping, you can make a conscious effort to use English. These simple, repeated actions are incredibly powerful tools for building real-world fluency. Next, let's look at daily life conversations that revolve around transportation and travel. Whether you are taking a taxi, riding a bus, or navigating an airport, you will need to communicate your needs in English. Imagine you are getting into a taxi. You would tell the driver, "Hi, could you please take me to Central Park?" The driver would likely reply, "Sure, hop in." Once you are on your way, you might ask, "How long do you think it will take to get there?" The driver might say, "About 20 minutes, but it depends on the traffic." After you arrive at your destination, you would ask, "How much do I owe you?" And the driver might reply, "That will be $15. You could hand them the money and say, "Here's 20. Please keep the change. Thank you." These quick interactions help you practice clear and direct English, especially in new or busy environments where you need to communicate efficiently. If you're using public transportation, such as a bus or a subway, conversations might involve asking for information. You could ask someone at the bus stop, "Excuse me, does this bus go to the city center?" They might respond, "Yes, it does." You'll need to get off at the 5th stop. Or maybe you're at a busy train station and you say to an employee, "Where can I buy a ticket to New York?" And someone might reply, "You can buy tickets over there at counter number 2. These types of conversations allow you to understand directions, follow instructions, and complete necessary tasks confidently while using English. Now let's imagine a slightly more complex situation at an airport. You go to the check-in counter and say, "Good morning. I have a flight to London at 10:30. The airline staff member will reply, "Good morning. May I see your passport, please?" You would hand it over and they might then ask, "Do you have any luggage to check in today?" You could respond, "Yes, just this one suitcase." They would then process your information and say, "All right, you're all set. Your gate number is 12A and boarding will begin at 9:30. You would reply, "Thank you very much." These more formal conversations require you to be polite, clear, and accurate with your responses. Practicing them in your mind beforehand will help you feel much more prepared and less stressed when you are traveling internationally. Let's move on to conversations related to emergencies or unexpected problems. It is very important to know how to explain a problem or ask for help in English when you need to. Imagine you are staying at a hotel and something in your room isn't working correctly. You could call the front desk and say, "Hi, I'm in room 305. The air conditioning in my room doesn't seem to be working properly." The receptionist would likely reply, "I'm very sorry to hear that. We will send someone from maintenance up to fix it right away." You could respond, "Thank you, I appreciate that." Being able to clearly report issues and respond politely helps you manage difficult situations with a sense of calm and clarity. In another situation, imagine you realize you have lost your phone and need help. You might go back to a restaurant you were at and say to the staff, "Excuse me, I think I may have left my phone here earlier. Has anyone turned one in?" The staff member might check and reply, "Yes, actually, someone did find a phone. Can you describe it for me? You would say, yes, it's a black phone with a blue case. They would check and say, yes, this is it. Here you are. You would respond with relief, oh, thank you so much. You've saved my day. These interactions show how to remain calm, explain a situation clearly, and respond appropriately. This kind of conversation also strengthens your ability to describe objects and express strong emotions like relief and gratitude. Another example is calling emergency services. Although we all hope we never need to use this type of conversation, being prepared can make a huge difference in a critical moment. If you ever need to call for help, you might say, "Hello, I need an ambulance." Someone has fainted. The dispatcher on the other end would ask, "What is your location?" You would need to reply clearly, "We are at the corner of Main Street and Fifth Avenue." They would then respond, "Okay, help is on the way. Please stay on the line with me." Being prepared for these kinds of interactions requires clear, direct, and factual English that effectively communicates urgency and essential information. Now let's consider conversations about more enjoyable topics, like hobbies and interests. Talking about what you love to do in your free time is one of the best ways to connect with other people on a more personal level. In English, you might say, "In my free time, I absolutely love painting. It helps me relax and be creative." Or, "I'm a big fan of reading, especially mystery novels." If someone asks you, "So, what do you like to do on the weekends?" you could reply, "I usually like to go hiking if the weather is nice or just spend some quality time with my family." These conversations are excellent for expanding your vocabulary around different activities, emotions, and personal preferences. They also help you develop your personality in English and engage in more meaningful and interesting conversations. You might also discuss your future plans with others. Someone may ask, "Do you have any plans for the upcoming holidays?" You could reply, "Yes, I'm planning to visit my grandparents. I haven't seen them in a while." Or you might say, "I'm thinking of taking a short trip to the beach for a few days." Being able to express your intentions and ideas about the future is a key part of fluency. It allows you to talk about your goals, make suggestions for activities, and discuss various possibilities. You can also ask questions like, "Where are you thinking of going for your vacation?" Or, "Have you booked your tickets yet?" These types of conversations help you plan your life and share your thoughts with others in English. Let's not forget about the importance of expressing emotions and feelings. Talking about how you feel helps to build deeper and more authentic connections with people. You might say to a friend, "I'm feeling a bit tired today. It was a long week." Or, "I'm really happy with how my presentation at work went this morning." If a friend tells you, "I'm feeling a little stressed out about my exams," you can respond with empathy, "I understand. Is there anything I can do to help?" These expressions teach you how to recognize and respond to emotions in a supportive way. They also help you become more sensitive and caring in your communication. Using emotional language properly is a powerful part of English fluency that adds warmth, depth, and humanity to your conversations. Lastly, let's talk about reflection and gratitude. At the end of a day, you might say to yourself or to someone else, "It's been a long day, but I'm proud of what I managed to get done." Or, "I'm so grateful for the wonderful people I have around me." Talking about your experiences in this way helps you practice using the past tense and expressing appreciation. You might also say to a friend or family member, Thanks for being there for me today. Your support really meant a lot. These sentences may seem simple, but they carry strong emotional value and help you practice meaningful English. Daily reflection is a wonderful habit for improving both your language skills and your overall mindset. Let's now explore daily life English conversations that take place in various community settings, such as the local library, the post office, or the pharmacy. These might not be places you visit every single day, but they are common enough that practicing the English needed for these situations is incredibly valuable. Imagine you decide to go to the public library to borrow a book. You walk up to the main counter with your selection and say, "Hi, I'd like to check out this book, please." The librarian would likely smile and reply, "Certainly." "Do you have your library card with you?" You would respond, "Yes, of course." Here it is. As the librarian scans your card and the book, they might say, "This book will be due back in 2 weeks." You can reply, "Perfect. Thank you for your help. Have a nice day." These short, polite, and functional exchanges help you navigate public services using English. They make it much easier to ask for what you need, follow the rules and procedures, and show appreciation for the service. Now, let's picture a visit to the post office. The conversation might begin with you approaching the counter and saying, "Hello, I'd like to send this package to Canada, please." The postal worker would then ask, "All right. Do you want to send it by standard or express delivery?" This question requires you to make a choice. You could respond, "Standard delivery is fine, thank you." "How much will that cost?" The staff member would weigh the package, check the price, and say, "That will be $12. You would then complete the transaction by saying, "Okay, here you go." They might give you a receipt and some information saying it should arrive in about 7 to 10 business days. You can finish the conversation by saying, "Great. Thanks very much for your help." These types of conversations are excellent for teaching you how to handle transactions, understand different service options, and process service-related vocabulary, all of which are extremely helpful when communicating in any English-speaking environment. Now let's consider a visit to the pharmacy. You might approach the counter and say, "Hi, I'm here to pick up a prescription." The pharmacist will likely ask for more information. "Okay. What's the name on the prescription?" After you give your name, they might say, "Okay, I found it right here. Do you have any questions about this medication? This is a very important question." You might reply, "Yes, actually. Could you remind me how often I should take it?" The pharmacist would explain, "You should take 1 tablet every 8 hours, preferably with food." You can confirm your understanding by saying, "Got it. 1 every 8 hours. Thank you again." This kind of interaction teaches you how to ask for important health-related information and follow critical instructions. Being able to ask and answer questions clearly in such situations is very important and gives you a great deal of confidence in managing your own health and well-being in English. Let's move on to conversations that happen closer to home, with your neighbors or other members of your community. Suppose you live in an apartment building and you run into your neighbor in the hallway. A simple, friendly greeting could be, "Hi, Maria. How's it going?" She might smile and respond, "Hey, pretty good, thanks. I just got back from work." You could continue the small talk by asking, "How was your day?" And she might say, "It was so busy, but I'm glad it's finally over." You could agree, "I know the feeling." Well, have a good evening. These small, friendly exchanges might not seem like much, but they are the threads that weave a sense of community. They help you feel more connected to the people around you while you practice your English in a relaxed, casual, and authentic way. Now imagine a situation where you need to ask a neighbor for a small favor. You might knock on their door, and when they answer, you could say, "Hi, David. Sorry to bother you, but I was wondering if I could possibly borrow your screwdriver for just a few minutes." Your neighbor would likely say, "Oh, sure, no problem at all. Let me just grab it for you." You would respond, "Thanks so much, I really appreciate it. I'll bring it right back." Later, when you return the tool, you would say, "Thanks again, David. That really helped me out." The neighbor might reply, "You're welcome anytime. Glad I could help." These conversations teach you how to make polite requests, offer gratitude sincerely, and interact respectfully with the people in your community. They help build your language confidence in friendly, helpful, and cooperative situations. Let's talk about another area of daily life that many people engage in: exercise and fitness. Suppose you decide to go to a local gym for the first time to sign up. You'd go to the front desk and say, "Hi, I'd like to inquire about signing up for a membership." The staff member would reply, "Sure, I can help with that. We have monthly and yearly plans. Which one would you be interested in?" You might say, "I think I'll start with a monthly plan just to try it out." Then they might ask, "Great. Would you like access to our group fitness classes as well?" You could reply, "Yes, definitely. I'd love to try the yoga class." These conversations are very helpful for navigating memberships, understanding schedules, and learning about different services. Inside the gym, you might decide to talk to a personal trainer. They might ask, "Is this your first time working out in a while?" And you could respond, "Yes, I'm just starting again after a long break." The trainer might then say, "Okay, let's start with some light exercises today to ease you back into it, and we can build up gradually." You would respond, "That sounds like a good plan. Thanks for helping me." These sentences help you express your current level, ask relevant questions, and follow instructions. Whether you're at a gym, a swimming class, or joining a local fitness group, using English helps you communicate your needs and goals effectively. Let's imagine you are traveling with a friend in a new city. You've been walking around for a while and you want to stop for lunch. You could say to your friend, "I'm starting to get hungry. Do you want to find a place to eat?" Your friend might say, "Yeah, I'm starving. Let's look for a nice place." You might spot a restaurant and say, "This place looks pretty good. Want to try it?" They would likely agree, "Sure, let's check it out." These conversations involve expressing your personal feelings like hunger, making suggestions, and coming to a group decision. Inside the restaurant, the host might greet you with, "Table for two?" And you can simply say, "Yes, please." These moments are real, they happen frequently, and they are incredibly useful for practicing natural, flowing English. While you are waiting for your food, you might look at the menu and say, I think I'll get the grilled chicken salad. It sounds healthy." Your friend might respond, "That does sound good, but I think I'm in the mood for the cheeseburger." You could then say, "Okay, how about we share a side of fries too?" These types of conversations about food choices, sharing, and making decisions give you a lot of useful vocabulary and common sentence structures. When the server comes to take your order, you can say, "Yes, I'd like the grilled chicken salad, please. And we'll also have a side of fries to share." These simple, clear sentences help you to be polite and confident when ordering meals in English. When the meal is over and the server asks, "Did you save any room for dessert?" you can respond, "Everything was wonderful, but no dessert for us, thank you. We'll just take the check, please." When you receive the bill, you might ask, "Is it okay if we pay by card?" And the server would say, "Yes, that's perfectly fine." These final exchanges complete the entire dining interaction in a professional and polite manner. Using English confidently during these dining experiences makes your conversation skills more complete, well-rounded, and ready for any social situation. Let's now consider another important area of conversation, talking about your goals and your daily routines. Suppose you're having a casual chat with a friend and they ask, "So, what are your main goals for this year?" You could respond, "Well, I really want to improve my English fluency, and I also want to try to read more books." They might say, "That's a great goal. For me, I want to start exercising more regularly and eat a bit healthier." These types of conversations allow you to share your personal aspirations, encourage other people, and learn how to use motivational and future-oriented language in English. You can also talk about your routine by saying something like, "I usually wake up around 6 in the morning, do some stretching, and then I have my breakfast." The other person might comment, "Wow, that sounds like a really productive start to the day." This helps you build your ability to describe your schedules and daily habits. You may also find yourself discussing topics like productivity and learning. For example, someone might ask you, "How do you stay so focused when you're studying?" You could answer, "I find it helpful to keep my phone in another room and study in short, focused sessions with breaks in between." Or another English learner might say, "I've been learning a lot of English by watching videos and reading short stories." You could reply, "That's great." I do that too. I find it really helps with vocabulary. Sharing your techniques, talking about different study methods, and exchanging ideas are all wonderful ways to use English actively and meaningfully. All of these daily life situations, whether they happen in your own neighborhood, at the gym, in a restaurant, or during your travels, offer an endless supply of opportunities to speak, listen, and respond in English. When you make a conscious effort to practice these kinds of conversations regularly, your brain slowly but surely starts to think in English, and you will find that you no longer need to translate from your native language. The more often you practice in real-world situations, the faster your fluency will grow. Every single conversation, no matter how small or simple it may seem, becomes a valuable chance to learn, improve, and become more confident. Let's now explore the world of digital communication in a bit more detail, an area where we all spend a great deal of our time. Whether you are chatting with friends on a social media app, sending a professional email to a coworker, or participating in a virtual meeting for work or school, you are using English in a modern and essential way. For instance, when you are chatting with friends online, someone might send you a quick message saying, "Hey, how's your day going?" You could respond, "It's going pretty good, thanks." "I just finished up with work. What about you?" They might then say, "Same here." "I'm so tired." You can continue the friendly chat with, "I know that feeling all too well." "Hey, let's try to catch up in person this weekend if you're free." These quick, informal messages are a huge part of daily interaction for many people. They help you build comfort and fluency with casual phrases, common contractions like how's and it's, and the rapid-fire responses that reflect how English is used in real time. When it comes to email, the conversations tend to be a little more structured and formal. Suppose you are writing an email to your manager. You might begin with a polite salutation. "Dear Mr. Davis, I hope you're doing well." You would then continue with the main point of your email. "I wanted to follow up and check if the marketing meeting is still scheduled for Thursday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Your manager might reply, "Hi, yes, the meeting is confirmed for that time. Please let me know if you have any questions beforehand." You could write back a final confirmation. "Thank you for confirming. I will be ready with my part of the presentation." These email exchanges help you practice a professional tone, proper sentence structure, and respectful communication. Writing emails regularly in English is a fantastic way to strengthen your grammar, your ability to write with clarity, and your understanding of more formal expressions. Now, let's imagine you are participating in an online meeting. At the very beginning of the meeting, you might say, "Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me clearly?" A colleague might respond, "Yes, we can hear you just fine." You would then continue, "Great. Let's get started with today's agenda then." Later in the meeting, you might want to contribute to the discussion by saying, "If I could just add something to what Maria said a moment ago." Or, if you miss something, you could ask, "I'm sorry, could you please repeat that last point?" The connection broke up for a second. At the very end of the meeting, you could say, "Thank you for your time and input, everyone." Let's plan to follow up on these action items next week. These examples accurately reflect how English is used in professional and organized digital settings. Practicing these phrases helps you become a more effective and confident communicator, especially in today's world of remote work and online business environments. Let's return to more casual, personal conversations, the kind that often take place in the evening when people have time to unwind, relax, and reflect on their day. You might be sitting with a family member and say, "So, did anything interesting happen to you today?" They might respond, "Not really. It was a pretty normal, quiet day. How about you?" You could reply, "Well, I had a few meetings back to back, but nothing too stressful, thankfully." Then they might say with a sigh of relief, "It's so nice to just sit and relax now." You would agree, "Yes, it really is. I've been looking forward to this all day." These moments of calm and quiet after a busy day offer a wonderful chance to share feelings and connect with others while using clear, easy-to-understand English. It also helps you practice speaking in the past tense and discussing events in a natural, storytelling way. During these quiet evening moments, you might also make small plans or decisions for the next day. You could say, "Should we go grocery shopping tomorrow morning to beat the crowds?" The other person might say, "That's a good idea. That works for me. What do we need to get?" You could answer, "Well, we're definitely out of milk, eggs, and bread, and we could use some more vegetables and some fruit." They might reply, "Okay, let's make a list so we don't forget anything." This kind of conversation teaches you the vocabulary for planning and making practical suggestions. It also helps you build fluency through simple questions and answers that feel smooth, purposeful, and collaborative. Another very common area for daily English use is housework and chores. Imagine saying to your roommate, "Hey, could you help me fold the laundry?" There's a huge pile. The other person might say, "Sure, just give me about 5 minutes to finish this email." You could respond, "No problem. Thanks." I'll start with the shirts. While you are cleaning the house, you might say, "Let's vacuum the living room next." And they might reply, "Good idea. I'll go get the vacuum cleaner." Talking about chores may seem very basic, but it teaches you a wide range of verbs and vocabulary that you will use on a regular basis. The more you use these words in the context of real-life tasks, the more natural and automatic they become in your everyday speech. Now let's imagine you're getting excited about planning a weekend trip. You might say to a friend, "I was thinking of going to the mountains this Saturday. The weather is supposed to be perfect." Your friend might respond, "Oh, that sounds so fun. How long is the drive from here?" You could say, "It's about a 3-hour drive. We could leave early in the morning to make the most of the day." They might then ask, "Should we pack some snacks and water for the car?" You could reply, "Yes, definitely." And maybe some extra layers of clothes, just in case it gets cold up there. This kind of conversation teaches you how to plan ahead, express your ideas, and consider different options and possibilities. It's a perfect scenario for practicing the future tense and learning how to prepare for real activities while using English in a very practical and engaging way. When you return from a trip or an event, it's also a great opportunity to practice describing your experience. You might say to a friend, "The view from the top of the mountain was absolutely amazing." Your friend might reply with interest, "I can only imagine." "Did you take any photos?" You could answer, "Yes, tons. I got some really great shots of the sunset." They might then ask, "Was it very crowded with other people?" You could say, "A little bit at the main viewpoint, but it was very peaceful overall." This conversation uses the past tense, descriptive language, and common questions about experiences. Describing events, vacations, or special moments from your life is a fantastic way to build your storytelling skills in English and share your life with others. Let's also think about emotional support conversations, those important moments when someone needs a bit of encouragement or just a kind word. Suppose your friend says to you, "I've been feeling really down lately." A supportive response would be, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Do you want to talk about what's going on?" They might say, "I just feel a bit stuck and unmotivated." You could reply with empathy, "That's completely understandable." We all go through tough times like that. Just know that I'm here for you if you need anything at all. These types of conversations teach you about empathy, emotional language, and how to use supportive expressions in English. They also help you grow as a person who can comfort others using soft, gentle, and meaningful words. You might also find yourself offering advice during such times. Your friend might say, "I just don't know what to do next." You could gently suggest, "Well, maybe it would help to take a short break and do something you really enjoy. It could help clear your mind a bit." They might say, "Thanks. That's actually a really good idea. I think I'll do that." Offering advice, even simple suggestions, helps you practice using conditional phrases, maintaining a polite and non-judgmental tone, and using problem-solving language. These are incredibly important skills in both your personal and your professional life. Now imagine talking about special occasions like birthdays, holidays, or other celebrations. You might say to a friend, "Tomorrow is my sister's birthday and I want to get her something nice." A friend might suggest, "What about a book? I know she loves to read." You could respond, "That's a fantastic idea. I'll check out the bookstore after work today." Talking about holidays, you could say, Our family usually visits our grandparents during the New Year's holiday. Someone might reply, "Oh, that sounds so lovely. Do you have any special family traditions?" You could answer, "Yes, we always cook a huge meal together and play board games all night." These types of conversations add warmth, cultural context, and personal stories to your use of English. Before you end your day, you might say to your loved ones, "Good night. Sleep well." They might say in return, "Good night to you too. Sweet dreams." These small, caring exchanges may seem incredibly simple, but they are very meaningful. They show affection and provide comfort. They are also wonderful, easy phrases to practice in real time, especially with your family or close friends. Saying good night, offering well wishes, or sharing a few kind words is part of the emotional communication that builds stronger relationships and makes your English feel alive, real, and full of heart. By including all of these moments in your daily practice, whether you're online, relaxing at home, planning something new, or comforting someone you care about, you continue to use English as a real, living language. It ceases to be something you just memorize for a test and instead becomes a tool you use to connect, to express yourself, and to grow. Every single sentence you speak or write in English becomes another step closer to true, effortless fluency. All of these conversations, no matter how short or how simple, help you become the kind of English speaker who sounds natural, confident, and wonderfully friendly. As we come to the final part of this comprehensive practice session, let's take a moment to review and reinforce just how important all of these daily conversations are in building your English fluency. Every small interaction, whether it takes place at home, at your workplace, online, or out in public, helps to shape the way you speak, listen, and understand the English language. What makes these everyday conversations so powerful is not just the vocabulary or the grammar that you use, but how naturally they flow from one situation to the next. When you reach the point where you stop thinking in your native language first and begin responding directly in English, that is the moment when true, significant progress begins. This doesn't require the use of complicated words or the ability to give long, formal speeches. It simply requires consistency, patience, and dedicated, everyday practice. Let's go through a few final practice examples to bring together everything that you've learned and practiced today. Imagine you're making plans for the weekend with a friend. You could say, "Hey, do you want to do something fun this weekend? I'm feeling adventurous." Your friend might reply, "Sure. What do you have in mind?" You could respond with a couple of ideas. "Well, maybe we could finally go to the beach, or we could check out that new cafe that opened downtown." Your friend might say, "Ooh, I'd love to try that cafe. I've heard from so many people that it's great." You could then finalize the plan. "Perfect. Let's meet there at 2 o'clock on Saturday then." They would agree. "Sounds like a plan." In this very short conversation, you have successfully practiced making suggestions, sharing opinions, showing enthusiasm, and confirming plans. All incredibly important skills for real-life fluency. Now, let's imagine another common situation where you are giving someone directions. A tourist might stop you on the street and ask, "Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but how do I get to the train station from here?" You could respond clearly and helpfully, "No problem at all. Just go straight for 2 blocks and then turn left at the big traffic light. The station will be right there on your right-hand side." They would say with relief, "Thank you so much." You could reply, "You're very welcome." "Have a good day." This exchange teaches you how to give clear, easy-to-follow instructions and respond politely. These are skills that are especially useful in cities or when you are helping visitors. It also builds your ability to describe locations and use basic directional phrases naturally and without hesitation. Next, picture a very quick conversation with the delivery person. The person arrives at your door and says, "Hi, I have a package for you." You would respond, "Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Do I need to sign anything?" They might say, "Yes, just sign right here, please." After you sign, you could add, "All right. Thanks so much and have a good day." They would likely say, "You too." These very quick transactional exchanges happen all the time in daily life, and practicing them helps build your fluency in a very practical and functional way. You learn how to ask simple questions, respond clearly, and always show politeness. Let's now imagine you're in a bookstore, browsing the shelves. You decide to ask for some help. You could walk up to a staff member and say, "Hi, excuse me. Do you have any books on learning how to cook Italian food?" They might reply, "Yes, we do. They're in the second aisle over on the left." You could say, "Thanks. Do you have any personal recommendations?" They might respond, "This one right here is very popular among beginners. It has great pictures and simple recipes." You could say, "This looks perfect. Great, I'll take it." This conversation gives you practice with asking for help, using specific vocabulary related to your interests, and understanding suggestions. It also provides a way for you to feel more confident and capable in public places when speaking English. Another very realistic daily conversation happens when you are talking to a child, a younger sibling, or perhaps a student you are mentoring. You might say, "Have you finished your homework yet?" They might reply, "Not yet. I'm still working on it now." You can then ask, "Do you need any help with anything?" They might say, "Yes, actually. I'm really stuck on this math problem." You would respond supportively, "Okay, let's take a look at it together." These interactions help you use everyday expressions, ask and answer questions in a familial setting, and practice using helpful, supportive, and encouraging language. Now let's consider a conversation where you want to share some exciting news. You might call a friend and say, "Guess what? I got a new job." Your friend would respond with excitement, "Wow, congratulations. That's absolutely amazing news." You could reply, "Thanks. I'm so excited. I start next Monday." They might ask, "That's so soon. What will you be doing?" You could say, "I'll be working as a customer support representative for a tech company." These conversations are exciting, personal, and full of positive energy. They help you express your emotions, describe important changes in your life, and respond to others with genuine enthusiasm. Sometimes conversations can involve giving your opinions or joining a discussion. For example, you might be watching a movie with friends and say afterwards, "I didn't really like the ending. It felt too rushed for me." Your friend might say, "Really? I thought it was perfect. It kept me guessing until the very end." You could reply, "I see your point, but I just wish they had explained a little more about the main character's past." These opinion-based exchanges allow you to use more expressive and nuanced language, compare different ideas, and explore your differences respectfully. Being able to agree, disagree, or offer a different viewpoint in English makes your conversations more dynamic, interesting, and real. You might also be involved in situations where you need to make a polite complaint. Suppose you are at a restaurant and your food arrives, but it is too cold. You would call the server over and say politely, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, but my food is a bit cold. Would it be possible to warm it up, please?" They would likely respond, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that. Let me take care of it for you right away." You would say, "Thank you, I appreciate it." Later, when the food returns, you could say, "This is much better. Thanks again." These types of conversations show how to remain polite and respectful even when things go wrong. You practice using calm, non-confrontational language to express your dissatisfaction and then show your appreciation when the problem is solved. Another very useful practice example includes talking to someone who, like you, speaks English as a second language. Suppose you meet a fellow learner at a language exchange and you say, "Hi, how long have you been learning English?" They might answer, "For about a year now." What about you? You could say, "I've been learning for 2 years. I'm still working hard on my fluency." They might respond, "Same here." I try to practice every day by watching videos and reading online articles. You could say, "That's a really good method." I also do a lot of shadowing practice to help with my pronunciation. These conversations are incredibly encouraging, honest, and helpful. They remind you that you are not alone in your learning journey and that daily practice really does make a significant difference. In your own home, you can create conversations with yourself to build your confidence. You might stand in front of the mirror in the morning and say, "Today, I am going to work on my pronunciation of the sound." Or you could walk into your kitchen and say, "Let me describe what I see in the kitchen." Even when you don't have someone else to talk to, practicing aloud is an extremely effective method. You can narrate your own actions throughout the day by saying things like, "Now I am washing the dishes," or "I am preparing my breakfast with some eggs and toast." These spoken sentences might seem small and silly, but over time, they help you to form natural English habits and think more directly in the language. Lastly, it is so important to reflect on your own journey. You can say to yourself, "I've learned so much today. My English is getting better every day." Or, "I made a mistake earlier when I was speaking, but I corrected myself." That is progress. Encouraging yourself in English builds not only your language skills, but also your motivation and resilience. It helps you to stay focused and positive, especially on days when you feel like your improvement is slow. Remember, every single conversation is a form of practice, and every single day is a step forward. No matter what your current level is, consistent and dedicated effort is what will transform you into a fluent and confident English speaker. Now, before we end our session, let's do one final quick practice together. Imagine this simple routine. You wake up in the morning and say out loud, "Good morning." It's time to start the day. You go to the kitchen and say, "I think I will make some coffee first." While you are getting dressed, you say, "I think I'll wear the blue shirt today." Then, as you prepare to go out, you say, "Let me grab my keys and my wallet." These sentences, whether said aloud or even just silently in your head, train your brain to think in English from the moment your day begins. This is perhaps the best daily practice of all. Talking to yourself in English as you simply live your life. There are no books, no tests, and no stress involved. It is just you, using the language in every moment that you can. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today and for dedicating yourself to practicing your English. I truly hope these daily life conversations have helped you feel more confident and ready to use English in your own everyday routine. Remember, the more you practice, the more natural and effortless it will all become. If you found this long-form practice video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, English in Advance, and press the bell icon so you never miss a new lesson. We upload new videos every single day to help you improve your skills faster. Also, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know how you practice English daily or what other conversation topics you would like to see in our future videos. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and I will see you in the next video.